Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Let me introduce myself. My name is Reva Dini Mukhtar. You can call me Reva. My student number is 23 10 73 10 36. I'm from class B, World English. In this video, I will explain I will present about English variety of New Zealand, more precisely in pronunciation. There are several aspects that I would like to discuss, namely geographical description such as location, population, political geography, religion, and number one, historical background, position in the cultural circle, social political background, and educational background. Okay, the first one I will explain about geographical descriptions. New Zealand English is a variant of English that is spoken and written by most English-speaking residents of New Zealand. The language code in ESO is listed as NZ. For most New Zealanders, English is the mother tongue. As many New Zealanders are exposed to Australian and Southern English, New Zealand's accent tend to have similarities to Australians' accents, although there are differences in intonation and some phonemes. For example, the pronunciation of vowel is often different, with some vowels sounding more open in New Zealand. Okay, next I will explain about location. New Zealand is located in South Pacific Ocean at 41 degrees S and 174 degrees E, near the center of the hemisphere. It stretches 1,600 kilometers or 990 miles with the maximum width of 406 largest island nation. New Zealand consists of many islands, but there are some famous islands, namely the first one is South Island is the large island is New Zealand and is the 12th large island in the world. The east side of the island features the Canterbury Plain, while the west coast is famous for its rich coastline, heavy rainfall, tall forests, and glaciers. The second one is the North Island, is the second large island and the 15th large in the world. It is separate from the South Island by Cook Strait, with the short distance being 23 kilometers or 14 miles. The North Island has many isolated volcanic peaks. And the third one is, in addition the North and South Island, the five large inhabited islands are Stewart Island, Araquira, Kacha Island, Great Barrier Island, Regito, Toki de Tonga, or D'Urville Island, and Waiheke Island. Okay, next is population. The current population of New Zealand is 5,224,927 as of Tuesday, October 15, 2024, based on Worldometer translation of the latest United Nations data. New Zealand multicultural population consists of Maori, European immigrants, and other Asian and Pacific communities. Due to the diversity of the population, there is a mixture of language and dialects. This can result in the incorporation of various elements in English pronunciation, leading to the formation of new accent or dialect. Next is political geography. New Zealand has two land borders. New Zealand is administratively divided into 16 regions, 7 in the South Island and 9 in the North. Among these regions, 11 are administered by regional authorities, while 5 are unitary authorities that combine the function of regional authorities and territorial authorities. Each region can have its own unique pronunciation and vocabulary influenced by local culture and history. Okay, the first one is the North Island use of New Zealand English or NZE is more influenced by national and international language trends. Meanwhile, in the South Island, there are may be more prominent local variation with the distinctive vocabulary or accent. The second one is in regional authorities, language use is more standardized following official guidelines or national policies. In contrast, is the context of territorial authorities dealing with local issues. The language use may reflect the local community. Different authorities can be influenced the pronunciation and use of English. Next is religion. Everyone has their own religion, although there are some people who have no religion or are called atheists. Likewise, in New Zealand, religious diversity refers to the existence of various religious communities in a society. New Zealand is a home of Christian, Hindu, Buddhist, Muslim, Sikh, and Jews. The pattern of religious diversity in New Zealand developed from the religious culture brought by the communities that migrate to New Zealand. When different religious communities interact, such as through social events or interfaith activities, there is likely to be exchange of pronunciation elements. This can create new variation in the way people speak. Okay, next is historical background. Polynesian settlers arrived in New Zealand around 1250 to 1350 AD. The majority of these groups formed their unique culture. When the Polynesian settlers first arrived in New Zealand, they developed to Maori language, which later became the indigenous language and cultural identity that thrives there. The influence of British colonialism made English the dominant language in New Zealand, but the English that developed there has distinct characteristics. The accent and dialect of English in New Zealand, or New Zealand English, is different from English in the UK and Australia. For example, many Maori words have been adopted into the New Zealand English vocabulary, especially for place names, flora, fauna, and cultural concepts. Next is position in the cultural circle. English in New Zealand belongs to the inner circle because in New Zealand, English is the first and main language and is used in the community. Although New Zealand belongs to inner circle, interaction with Maori also affects pronunciation variation, place names, people names, and some colloquial words are pronounced with the influence of Maori phonology. And next is sociopolitical background. New Zealand's social background is shaped by the interaction between the indigenous Maori population, Europe immigrant, and other ethnic groups. The majority of population in New Zealand is Europe descent, with Maori being the large minority group, followed by Asian and Pacific Islanders. Social background influence variation in English pronunciation is in New Zealand. The influence comes from British colonizations, which introduced the English accent as the basic language of English in New Zealand. However, this accent evolved when the local accent was influenced by Maori language and pronunciation. Social policies that recognize the Maori language also have maintained the Maori influence in English pronunciation, creating variation that reflect New Zealand's social and ethnic diversity. Okay, next is politics. New Zealand is a constitutional monarchy with a parliamentary democracy. Legislative power is vested in a single chamber house or representatives whose members are elected for 3-year terms. The British monarch is the official head of state and is represented by Governor General, who is appointed by the monarch for a 5-year term. The Governor General has limited power, with the office retaining some residual power to protect the Constitution and act in situations of constitutional crisis. For example, the Governor General can dissolve Parliament in certain circumstances, as a country with close ties to the UK, being part of the Commonwealth and still maintaining the British monarchy as the official head of state. New Zealand has adopted many elements of English culture and language. However, over time, English pronunciation in New Zealand evolved into the distinctive accent known as New Zealand English, or NZE. Last one is educational background. The educational system in New Zealand follows a three-tier model that includes early childhood education for birth to school entry, primary and secondary school 5 and 19 years old, and higher education at university and polytechnics. Schools in New Zealand are places where children from different social backgrounds meet and use English together. Teachers in school also play an important role in student and learning English pronunciation because teachers are important language models. The pronunciation used by teachers is often followed by students. In New Zealand, many teachers speak with a standard Kiwi accent, but with a little regional or ethnic variation. As a result, the pronunciation learned in school tends to be close to national standard, but still reflects local and cultural unique. Okay, the conclusion is New Zealand English, or NZE, has developed into a unique variant of English influenced by location, population, political geography, religion, historical position in the culture's circle, social, political, and educational. NZE has a different pronunciation and vocabulary for British and Australian English. Its position in culture inner circle reflects its status as a main language in New Zealand, although Maori influence is visible in its pronunciation. Political, social, and educational system continue to shape NZE, with the standardized accent taught in school, while local culture nuance and further diversity to the language. Okay, I think that's all for me. If there are any mistake in pronunciation, please forgive me. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.